Perfect timing. It's always perfect timing. What the hell is going on, boys? It hasn't been a while. Now we're recording fucking 2 this week. Holy fucking hell. We're actually doing shit. How the hell's it going, boys? Nirth, you're always in the comments. We fucking love your shit, brother. You're super, super interactive. You're a creator as well. It's great to see actual people interacting because, I thought that was only my job where, there was cool people in the comments. And it seems like it's much more active than everybody realizes because so many more people actually comment and talk in chats and stuff that they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And nobody has any idea that they're talking to somebody cool. But how's the hell's it going, brother? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the show, and it's always fun to drop my 2 cents. And I like the timestamps, just putting down my thoughts as the show is happening. So yeah, I do some content here on YouTube as well, mostly in the Pokemon scene. Big fan of Verlis too, and have been for years. And yeah, for the most part, do Pokemon videos. Big into Pokemon Sleep these days. And aside from that, just chilling.
Yeah, the cool thing
So
is
you're
like you got established all on your own. Because the turnaround's like, oh, you're just a fan, but also 50,000 subscribers. So it's not like you're just some weird little dude that's like, I'm a Verlis fan. No, he's like actually just a really cool dude.
no,
Yeah,
that's where
actually,
I think
Oh,
that's
we're
just
going to have to
doing
get
hilarious.
used
videos
to
for
that.
a
Oh,
long
it's
time.
fucked. It's fucked already.
Yes.
No,
I'm based in
I
Norway, so we
apologize,
have
guys.
a pretty bad lag. So it's just once one of us starts talking, we just need to keep going to prevent the
Yeah,
whole lag issue. So
it's a little bit weird, and with my fucking ADHD bouncing off the fucking walls, it's going to be fucking odd. So I apologize. I will get it cleaned up the best I can in post anyway, regardless. But so it got really weird because I used to do that shit to find guests for this show before I joined PK. I would sit there and look through the comments and be like, oh, this person's interactive. Let me just talk. And then it's a very, very easy way to kind of become friends with people or just communicate with people because they're like, oh, I see that name there and I see this name here and it works. Everybody's like, oh, well, how'd you get this person? How'd you get that person? I talked to them. That's all I did. It's not complicated. It's just interactive and being communicative. It's not hard. But I love the fact that you will actually put the timestamp of what the fuck is going on that you're commenting about because I'm so tired of so many brain dead people being like, haha, this. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? You could have been
it's a
30
2 hour
seconds in the
long
video
show.
or 2 hour long. Like, what the fuck? You could be laughing about how I'm a retard and ended a story about how I almost died. And you're like, yeah, you know what? Haha. What are you talking about? I don't know what the fuck you're giggling about.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking weird, man. It's really fucking weird. But thank you. It's been a fucking blast to have you in the comments, and it's gonna be a blast to have you on the show.
Yeah, it was super random. And I think it was not the last episode, but the one before, just like 1 hour in, I was like, yeah, Nirth, that guy. It's like, what? We were going
No,
through some
not.
comments on some of the bigger creators that are just very odd in their
I
behavior,
I
just
I like throwing
bandwagoning.
out the comments because when there is something fucking weird, like that dude, 800,000 subscribers. Oh, this person's a piece of shit. Okay, so explain yourself, or at least be articulate enough to say something. If you're just some dude who makes fucking documentaries that don't explain anything about how you feel and all you do is make your money off of telling a story off of something else, brother, you're not creative. You're not. You're just somebody who fucking absorbs the fucking viewership from other things.
Yeah, it's doing
Fucking
like
stupid.
YouTube automation algorithm tags and stuff. But also, like, I think we did that pretty deep in the video. It's like, of course, that person hasn't watched any of the video. They see Verlis in the title and thumbnail and say, bad dude, unsub, and they never engaged anymore. It's like, hey, it would be great to have him on. I love dismantling weirdos.
They never even have a point either. And that's been my frustration, or I don't even know if it's a frustration. It's just a weird thing in some of the comments on my videos.
Yeah, the Pokemon
Particularly
cheating
one.
thing.
Yeah, I covered Wolf on the topic of cheating in general, and just the video that I put out in specific was mostly around just the lies because it's so obvious that it's cheated. The person who made the cheating software has proved it. And at that point, it should be on the story, but it's just flooded with all kinds of weird comments, and there's never any good points. And it's just crazy how it's been 2 years since that video was put out, and it's still daily almost of just rambles. And
Well, that's what happens when you don't change the way things look. So I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, a Call of Duty Pro. He was in the Pro League. was convicted of cheating essentially and was removed and banned mid-tournament. Like mid-active playing the game, he banned.
Mhm.
And I think it was a Saturday into a Sunday. His name was Jimbo. And he wasn't even that great in the league. He was like a 0.67, 0.7, somewhere in there. This was during MW 2019, I believe. He was playing for Paris Legion. And it became a huge story because he's getting banned mid fucking tournament. Like that's huge. Like you don't want to change something up like ban him on Monday
Mhm.
after the tournament. No, they affected the change right there. It's done. You're gone. There is no pass and go. And it's like the fact that Pokemon is still dealing with this. It's almost like they didn't deal with the problem. So it's continually a story. Like if they dealt with Wolf, and obviously I don't know Wolf as a person. I only know him as a creator or what he's done actively. So not attacking your personality, but attacking the shit that you're doing. This isn't okay. That's why everybody's kind of perpetuating this as the answer and everything else. Now, does Pokemon need to be more accessible? Abso-fucking-lutely, it should be. But the way that it's set up and the way that everything's written right now, there is no availability for that. He should have been gone from day one, the second that it was proven. And both of you guys have proven it. Both of you guys. And yet he's still sitting here winning regional championships and getting paid money. He is stealing money. He is stealing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars and making money off of you by cheating you. This, if it went to court right now, would be absolute jail time because it's theft. It's like what was that? Like a year ago, 2 years ago, dudes were putting lead weights in fish. That
Mhm.
is grand theft. You're stealing fucking money. And at some point, where is the recourse for this? Because it's like we're just accepting now.
It's very strange. The rulings in Japan are a lot more strict. So when the World Championships was hosted over there last year, shit went down.
Yeah, like that. None of it makes sense, and it just in every way. And that's also where you get to like back to the root question, where it's like, okay, why isn't Wolf banned? Well, that's because Play Pokemon was like super small early on. It was just all friends. It was all the same people. So Cybertron just gets hired by the Pokemon company, but he was a fellow competitor who was also cheating his Pokemon, and then now his friends are allowed to get away with cheating and other weird stuff.
Okay, so question, because
Hmm.
I think Pokemon's much more unique in this than a lot of the other esports in this area. Like Call of Duty doesn't bring up players as commentators or like players or commentators within the YouTube space or Twitch space into being the people that talk on stage and things like that. So it seems like Pokemon has started doing that. Like I remember Shady doing a couple streams and stuff like that, which was huge. Why don't they make these players who have absolutely been convicted and shit like that, but personality wise, they are growing the space. And I think both of you guys, even though you say that they're cheaters and they're pieces of shit for just that, they could grow the space. So if they remove them from the sticks and say, hey, you can't play anymore because you have cheated, but let's use this platform that you've developed and showcased on this, you're doing the wrong thing. You're fucking up. But let's use you to teach other people how to do this. So that way everybody grows in this
What the
space
fuck?
because
No.
it could.
No other sport does that. They don't take their cheater and then go, now let's put them in the spotlight for the promotion because everyone loved him. Everyone loved Lance Armstrong, but he got dropped. Everyone loved, well, I don't know the love of, I just lost his name, the Reds dude that was doing the gambling.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose. Yeah, it's like Pete Rose, an icon, deleted.
No, but everybody fights that he should still be in the Hall of Fame because he should be. Technically, he
Yeah,
bet on
but they didn't
himself
even
to
give him
win.
that.
That shouldn't be something to just be like. I understand where this is a question, and I
Hmm.
understand where it's a thing. Just like in baseball, you have people like Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds saying that steroids aided their career. Yeah, it did. It made it so that way they didn't get injured and probably turned their 9 out of 10 career into an 11 out of 10 career. But as a whole, the personality that you're trying to build Pokemon not the TCG, Pokemon I can't
VGC.
VGC off of, you have to have the creators in that space in order to grow. What happens if Scump was cheating in Call of Duty? Do you just cut him out
Yeah,
completely and
you
say
have
that
to.
fuck?
There's no
Then
reward for cheating. There should not be any gain from cheating whatsoever. That's the big problem here.
oh,
That they
absolutely.
only exist through the cheating.
Should he have to pay back the things? Absolutely. Should he be removed from those titles? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I completely agree there. But if you're trying to create a platform to where this grows right now, not obviously because it's already happened, you can't
Yeah.
just go back and erase him. Using that availability and those eyes that he's already created would be the most beneficial thing for VGC to do at this time.
Absolutely not.
Not 10
I
years
don't think
ago.
so either, because the Pokemon franchise is so huge that you can just make a proper foundation and incentivize proper behavior, and then all of a sudden you have a huge competitive scene all over again, or
So
at all.
obviously
It's
we could
very
do a
strange to me
10-hour
that
Yeah.
Pokemon
podcast
in
on
general,
this.
it's a very good style guide. It has a very interesting structure to it, so you can just make an interesting game with the Pokemon icons and the structure that it brings. And it's just baffling to me how you can have the biggest media franchise not having one of the bigger competitive games as of
It's
now.
still
Like,
really
for
small.
example, yeah, it's very strange. And especially
That's
when
why
it's so accessible by just having a game console.
that's why it's confusing to me, is because I can understand where that would be the thing. Like at this point, you kind of have to look at your game space of where this game is used. And you have kind of three realms. You have the VGC people who are probably the smallest. Then you have the singles, the 6v6 people, whether that's Smogon or, just battling with people or doing draft leagues or whatever, which still, obviously, all of these kind of have questionability behind them, but still, regardless. Then you have the people who do nuzlocking and gameplay and stuff like that. So, as a whole, the only way to me that you can look at this thing and be like, okay, so how do we unite this viewership base to watch the competitive stuff? Because it's what you like with Call of Duty. That's exactly what you needed to do. You needed to unite the competitive people with people that created content that will stream and everything else and kind of unite the fan base behind what is going on. So you guys already have a smaller fan base with VGC. So I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a championship, I believe, in Spain or Mexico that was mostly Spanish speaking, where they had to nuzlocke a game. And the way that they nuzlocked the game, those Pokemon that they beat the game with, they then had a tournament with and then had to play through that. That to me is probably where the Pokemon team should go, which I don't think that they're ever going to. I don't think that's ever going to be a sanctioned thing where you have to play the game then to beat a tournament. But logically, that is how you compete and destroy the whole, okay, well, we're going to sit here and max out one Pokemon and beat everybody by 40 hours. No, you play the game in front of everybody. It's right in your face. This game is changed in a way so that way it's just how you have to beat the game in order for the competitiveness to be there. That to me is the answer, but I don't think they ever do that. So I think growing off of the fan bases that have been almost forged and created by cheating would probably be the only way that they can grow at this point, because it's kind of stagnated. And if you cut off the head, then how are you going to regrow? That's very scary. And I can understand why they're freezing and like, oh, I don't know what to do about this. They're kind of
Well,
stuck.
if
They
you're
could
seeing
potentially, yeah.
needs cheaters, then it doesn't deserve to exist or be propped up.
Absolutely. I agree. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying from like a PR company standpoint, I can see where they're going to hold back and be like, okay, we can't cut the head off this because this thing is carrying us.
Yeah.
I'm curious about if they at some point release some sort of always online Pokemon game where they integrate some sort of consensus algorithm to just weed out all the cheating.
The dream is the Nintendo Switch 2 just doesn't have a vulnerability. Like, as far as I'm aware, the OLED and Switch Mini doesn't have any, like, hacking or homebrew. It
It's
was just
only
the
the
one
original. Yeah,
the
it's only the
one
original.
original Nintendo Switch, and there's only a few million of them. It's like, maybe 10% of Nintendo Switches are hackable because there's only one chip. That never happened. We had no hacking for Generation 8 and 9.
Like to me, if you made it so way you could set your stats when you go into online battling, it removes all of it. It removes all of it because then you can play with the Pokemon that you beat the game with. That fixes the situation because there's mints to change natures. You fix the nature and you just go there, you do the EV training, you do the little things to make your team the way you want it to be. And you're like, okay, well, this is a Trick Room team, set it all speeds to 0, and you go and play. That's literally all they have to do. They have to make it so way it literally passes checks and everything is maxed out the way you want it to be.
I used to support that. Yeah. I used to support that, but then, like, the cheating has gotten so bad for so long, it's like, we don't deserve that, because then you're just rewarding the cheaters. Unless Wolfie is, like, permanently banned. If Wolfie and all the other people, like, oh, you won Worlds with a hack team, banned. You went to Worlds and you were one of the people disqualified in Japan, permaban. Like, if you purge the entire scene, then I'm down with it. If not, like, again, you're just rewarding cheaters. They got away with it for so long, the scene changed around them, and then there was no recourse when they were breaking the rules.
So if they came forward and apologized, and both of you guys can answer this, if they came forward and said, I admit this, I did this, I fucked up. Yes, I did it the easy way, but my skill, which obviously is questionable, and I understand both of you guys are going to say that, but my skill of being able to understand turn by turn what is going to happen and overstepping where I'm available to, not creating the thing because you fucked up and you were retarded. And they're able to overstep and actually achieve in that way. And they said, I'm sorry, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done this. I paid back all of my winnings. Let's start at 0. Let my skill see it if I can bring myself back up. And everybody started at 0. Anybody who hacked has to apologize in order to compete again and remove that availability. It still keeps the eyes in the scene. And then see where everybody grows from there. Do they absolutely flounder like people that cheated before in sports and stuff with steroids? Oh, you remove the steroids. Are they a 7 out of 10 or are they a 5 out of 10?
It's kind of hard to go back though after you've used those steroids. It's a lot of weirdness too because those tournaments are pretty big. They're on all the highlights, and I don't like the fact that it's built on lies to begin with, and it's been going on for so many years. And yeah, I don't really have a very distinctly interesting position here, but I'm not a fan of the cheating. I think they should be banned if they have entered official tournaments and participated with fraudulent teams.
It's hard because there's so many different levels to this where it's just disconnected. A ball being wrong is fucked up, and obviously you cheated. You're showcasing you fucked up. But is that so directly in your face of I fucked up, I cheated, blah, 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 on the same level as somebody absolutely fucking up and putting an incorrect move? Like there's different levels to it in Pokemon. It's not like, oh, I injected myself with steroids and it let me heal faster. That's different than saying, okay, I have a different move that you can't have. That is absolutely mindlessly cheating. A ball
Pokemon
might not
is an
be the same
evolutionary
level,
process,
and that's
though.
kind of absolutely.
And it kind of like the meta always changes. And if you have these precise cheating tools, you can move much more swiftly and immediately. And that makes it so that a proper player won't ever be able to catch up just because things move that much faster. And it also makes the metagame a lot more uninteresting because to an extent, when you have the region, you have the different Pokemon and their stats and all that stuff, at some point you kind of find one of the leading strategies. And so you see, for example,
instantly solved.
Yes. And
But
so you see,
doesn't-
like, for example, with the 2016 World Championships
yeah.
or what it was, like top 8 teams are all the same. And
It was
it's not
2015.
particularly fun. Yeah. Right. Yes.
Would-
the end
all
of
Landorus.
X and Y.
Wouldn't something like, and I know Verlis speaks out about Smogon because they ban everything so quickly and everything else, but doesn't something like that, where it's quick bans and remove the top of the meta or bring the bottom of the meta up, wouldn't that make, like, if say you banned everything quickly and removed the hacking so that way it's consistently moving, doesn't that make it so it's no longer a stagnant meta and it's always changing and evolving? Because that seems like it's the answer to me. Like, if you make it so way it's always evolving and always changing, people are always having to be on top of things. Things are going to resort to their comfort level. So they're going to stick to, say, 2 or 3 team members out of their team and kind of swap out 1 or 2 depending on who the meta is. And then you kind of have a standard of this is what I need, this is what I'm comfortable with. And then it kind of plug and play everything else instead of everybody kind of just swapping and sticking to the same exact things. Like if you quick ban Landorus, it changes all of Smogon. 80% of teams change. So then, if there's nothing that fills that void, it then changes, and you're using blanket bans like that. So that way, it's 1 or 2 months here and there, and no cheating. Then you have the availability for things to drop and move up.
Absolutely not. Pokemon is way too complex to be solved, and when you remove the hacking, it means there's enough time in between for a new meta to squeeze in. Like, maybe it's going one way, but then because it's a lot slower without the hacking, someone else develops something else, and then that mixes it up, and now it's like completely destabilized. And
So you don't think
there's
the speed changes it enough? Like if the speed of quick bans and stuff like that changed it so that way there was 1 to 2 months
bans are
it
not
changed.
necessary. Like, it'd be like saying, like, oh, there's too many fucking whatever the leading chess open is, so it's like, oh, now we have to have 3 knights instead. Like, that doesn't change anything.
I understand
That's what I
where
mean.
that could be a comparison.
Yeah, where it's like, it's not solved. Pokemon cannot be solved in the same way chess can't be solved. There's no reason to change it, even with a dominant strategy, because you can still find enough diversity. Hacking just is the destabilizing force.
Oh, absolutely.
And I never answered my question, or I never answered your question. Like, no, permabans. Like, there's no oopsie, I cheated for 5 years in a row, and then I lied about it by slandering Nirth and Wolf, or not Nirth and Wolf, Nirth and Verlisify, because that's what Wolf did. He's like, he played off the hacking, even though it's like, you've been 100% caught, and then he made videos defending what happened at Pokemon Worlds. You don't accidentally do those things. Like, cheating is a deliberate act, which is why you see legitimate sports, legitimate competition purge those people forever, and maybe they come back like years down the line, but they don't have any kind of impact. And almost done. The thing about Wolf specifically is, like, he's a nobody without that 2016 World Championship. He is a nobody without hacking, even go back to like 2012 or something. So even if, like, let's say we ban him 3 years, like, we remove him from generation, he still has a permanent advantage over every competitor because it became his career. He's made millions of dollars off of YouTube ad revenue and subscribers and stuff that he would not have had without cheating. So you can't undo that on top of the prize money. He's ahead of where he'd be.
Obviously, that is some personality and some of the cheating. I absolutely agree with you there that I could understand where a blanket ban of anybody who did this before is not able to be around, which is why I said commentating and stuff like that and apologizing and moving forward and saying, hey, I did this, and admitting what they did and what they did was wrong, and how the Pokemon company decides to move forward with it, which is where I think the line in the sand needs to be drawn of. They need to say, hey, you cannot compete anymore, but let's use your eyes because they're there.
That's fucking retarded.
Well, obviously, with the shit that's going to happen now with Smogon and transform a little bit, because I want to get away from more in-depth Pokemon, because if we keep going down this route, we're going to talk for 4 hours in a circle.
Good. Then we have a 4-hour Pokemon podcast with Nirth, and that's who the guest was.
Oh, absolutely. But with the shit that happened with Emvee, and I will bring up the picture of the ban report and everything else as well. So obviously, what were your guys' opinion on what happened with this? Why don't you walk us through this, Verlis, so that way it's not just me talking blankly. So this is the post of what it was, and
yeah.
So who is this person?
I don't know them specifically, but I do know they were like a really, really close friend of Pokeaim, who's like the leading or one of like the top Smogon content creators, who's also been around longer than I have in Pokemon. So my initial reaction is, oh, another predator in the Pokemon community, especially Smogon, because like back in the day, 2010 through 2015, nonstop Smogon chat logs. I think like one of the founders, Haunter, had like grooming things against him with the chat logs.
He currently has 80,000 on YouTube, and let me see on Twitter. He has 17K, and he's privated his Twitter.
Yeah. What I'm saying is there's an endless amount of Smogon, Pokemon Showdown, forum posts, chat logs, DMs, and stuff of like this kind of predatory behavior. But it does get a little bit more noteworthy when you have a larger creator. But then it's like, oh, we have Nappy, we have Weedle Twin Needle. These are all people that are doing abusive things towards minors. So like you can kind of read it. You know, Emvee has been added to the list after senior staff received a report about an incident which Emvee made contact with another user through Pokemon Showdown. At the time, he was 22. User was 16. He acknowledged that the user was not yet 18. So, like, acknowledging that they were making contact with a minor with inappropriate discussion that was then sent to admin to lead to the ban.
So about 80,000 subscribers on his channel. Obviously, with his friend Pokemon, I believe he had access to about 1 million subscribers or so between the 3 or 4 channels they
Oh
all
yeah,
post
fat
on.
boost. Pokemon
Yeah.
boosted him into this position.
No, and honestly, and I've watched some of their content. I know that you guys don't like Smogon, whatever. I liked the content because I loved watching Verlis videos and then comparing and trying to see exactly what broke their meta teams, and they started kind of doing the same thing with kind of, oh well, this mon breaks this entire meta, use this, and then it changes things.
Yeah, when they
And
talk about you or something.
yeah, exactly. And they try and break it with a specific Pokemon, blah blah blah. To me, Emvee was always the weird one. And I'm not going to attack him personally. I'm just going to call it as it is. 16 is gray area in most states. So let's just, I know Nirth isn't from the States. Most states in between 16 and 18 are kind of the legal ages that you can kind of be, and it's kind of gray area and stuff like that. So obviously, I know you're a public figure as well. So obviously, kind of be careful in that area. But to me, 16 isn't something that is super uncommon. I think a lot of dudes that are weird and uncomfortable around females, especially in online relationships, will end up talking to chicks that are 16. Obviously, I don't know if this is a chick or a dude. I don't really care. It doesn't really change anything to me. To me, if this was a dude that was 16, there's kind of almost nothing that's kind of uncomfortable in it, other than the fact that one of these people is a creator. And that to me changes the entire thing. But you guys tell me what your guys' opinion is.
Oh, I think that we've done the correct course of action through the internet, where it's like, don't interact with minors. Doesn't matter who you are. Get
Exactly.
canceled if you do. Unless it's like a high school person that's like, yeah, you're 1 grade apart, and then a year happens. Like, okay, that's not predatory behavior. But when it comes to like these things, like, okay, 22 and 16.
Hard
That's
stance makes so much everything so much easier. You have to be 18
and
to interact with anybody.
yeah, and that's what I mean. I think it is like one of those things where like this is the correct thing. It doesn't matter where the legality is on 16. Your online person, like, it's online personality is not the law. So if you get canceled off Twitter, if you get canceled out of community because they think like, yeah, don't engage with a minor, that's a completely fair action. And then you're not like, the cops aren't going to take you away for something legal on that. So I think that's also another distinction there.
Exactly.
And
I think just drawing the line and showcasing what the law actually is and why, oh, well,
Yeah.
this isn't necessarily illegal, but there is a uncomfortability to this situation where people need to understand what the hell is going on.
Yeah,
Because
and
there is
again,
a
I
level.
think the relationship or like like if you know someone for a long time or it's a friend of a friend or something, it's different than it's like, oh, I found a 16-year-old and I'm in my 20s. Doesn't matter. Law doesn't matter. Age, no, you're wrong. Do not.
And there's another level to it. Like,
And then the
if
creator
you
thing makes it
compare-
worse.
That's what I was going to say, is like anybody who is a creator and you have some sort of viability or visibility to you, there is a level of power and control in that situation. And you have to be aware of it and you have to be protective over it. And we even saw that in the Nappy situation where somebody with millions of subscribers was talking to somebody with what was Scrafty at the point, like 5 or 10,000? Like,
He
he's
was
just growing.
10K. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
he was establishing.
Yeah, he was getting there, but obviously it was through the backing of the people in the community and stuff like that, and him getting a push.
Well, I
How
thought
much
that's
of
why
that
it was weird, because you said like, oh, if this is another guy, I don't see it as bad, but that's like exactly a Nappy situation. That was still really bad.
Oh, it was really bad, but I see the viability of what a guy will do having a conversation with another dude as they are going for something they want. A girl at 16 is much more, I don't want to use innocent because it's the wrong adjective, but much more vulnerable and internal of seeking that validation and receiving that from another creator, especially, will push that to be more vulnerable, where a guy isn't searching for validation unless it's something that is external. If a dude's looking for validation, then they're probably a broken person at that point, and they probably do need mental help, and they probably shouldn't be talking to people on the internet, on forums, especially where there are creators where, you know, you're underage, they're overage, and you're thinking you're going to bag a 22-year-old that's coming back to high school. You know, Does it get weird? Absolutely. That's the scumbag that everybody made fun of for coming back to high school with beer and saying, "Oh, we're going to go to prom this week." This isn't uncommon though. This isn't crazy. It's weird. And you have a huge power dynamic because you have 100,000 subscribers. Your channel should be removed. You used your power. You sat there and executed exactly what all these people say that Minecraft YouTubers do. And we're seeing it in Pokemon. There's kids in these fucking spaces. Make it so you have to fucking be 18 to talk at all. End. That's how you fix it. 18.
I was once on a call with bird keeper Toby, like years and years ago.
I don't like him.
2015. And I was just, I think you had around 60,000 subscribers at the time. And I remember that was like a big deal. And I was super, super nervous. But it was actually the consequence of me putting out a video saying that I was done with his content, because I was somewhat frustrated with whatever Tyranitartube was doing at the time. And I felt like his content was interesting, but he was starting to shift towards
that's why I don't like him.
Greed cycle. And yeah, it was just very strange. The dynamic there of watching someone on the internet, there can be a big, just, you put people on pedestal and whatnot. And I think, unfortunately, it gives
they changed the money.
Certain people, the opportunity to take advantage of others, and that's not good. Obviously, that's not what happened in my case. He was actually reaching out to just get some feedback, so that was good. I don't think I was able to really communicate my point properly. The whole issue there was just he was making a very, I would say, dramatic video about his Patreon launch, something like that, because he wanted to fund his work, which I guess is one way to go about it, but it was too money focused over his passion for Pokemon. I didn't really know how to articulate that. And then Tyranitartube with his clickbait and shenanigans kind of melted into the conversation, because there was another guy, I don't remember his name though. We were about the same size, like channel wise. I think we had 2,000 subscribers, something like way back in the day. And yeah, we both had just feedback, and I wish there was some sort of turning point, because I feel like that's one of the bigger issues that's been in the Pokemon community overall, where instead of there being someone stepping out of line in a greed or just a negative way, where someone like pulls them back in
I'm
and
the
says,
only person keeping people in line. It's not working. Desperation culture, I hate it.
Yeah, so instead of like people pushing that kind of behavior away, they all just follow suit. Oh, more money, more greed, more fame.
The classic
it's very
A-Drive.
Strange.
When A-Drive was like, he tweeted Tyranitartube. He's like, Tyranitartube clickbaiting isn't cool, all this fake news. And then like he started making the same videos Tyranitartube and apologized and like posted the DM of him apologizing to Tyranitartube. It's so dirty.
It's crazy, honestly. And if you look at those things, so many of those people teach each other. And that's what happens in these confined, condemned fucking communities. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Pokemon on YouTube is going to be fucking nuked. It's going to end up being the same exact thing that happened when Minecraft fucking got strangled by people like, what the fuck was his name? With Clara Baby Legs as his girlfriend. It's
Basher?
just going to be strangled and, Basher. It's just going to be strangled and killed because of all of the predatory people at the top. It's either going to become clickbait, like it already has. It's going to become absolutely strangled by people that are doing the same thing and not being inventive. Or you have people that are going to absolutely change the game and kind of transform away from Pokemon. And there are people that obviously, and there are some of the creators that I fucking love that I know you guys are certainly probably against in some spaces where you're like, cheating is bad. But there are people that are looking at the game and changing the way that content can be created from it. And those people will go past Pokemon. Those people will grow past what is there. But it's going to end up fucking killing the game. The entire game is going to die because the people that are abusing the game, like Emvee, and using it for clout and using it for availability to whether that's minors or people that are just lower on the totem pole than them, like Nappy and everything else. Like, you guys did the right thing by kicking Nappy out of the fucking group. He never apologized. That's literally all he had to do was apologize.
Oh, his
say that
stream
he
was
wrong.
amazing. He ran an ad like every 2 minutes and said nothing. He addressed like a different allegation, just ended, and then started coming back with Let's Plays like 6 months later.
He just
Some
needed
people
to
still accepted him.
Oh, honestly, his personality is fantastic. He needed to disconnect and apologize and admit wrong. And then his career is still there. That's all he had to do. He needed to be forward facing and admit the fucking problem. And then he probably still has a career. He's probably not gone from the internet if he just handles it correctly.
Well,
But
the thing is, he
now-
isn't gone. He's still uploading.
Oh,
Still
yes?
doing decent views.
I haven't seen shit.
See, that's the disgusting thing to me. Like, you shouldn't be able to apologize your way out of that under any circumstance. Like, YouTube should step in, dissolve your channel. You don't get to come back. And even if, like, yeah, I think you're right, though. If Nappy apologized and did it right, he would have been allowed back in. And that should have never happened. That just kind of shows the problems with the Pokemon community.
But, like, if you had 1,000 followers or 1,000 viewers or, 1,000 subs, Twitter and everything should remove your availability for talking to anybody below you.
I wouldn't say below you exactly.
But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
and I'm just kind of riffing. I have none of this pre-written, anything. I have no talking points. I'm just kind of coming off the top of my head. But, like, if you think about it, there should be an availability where it's harder to reach somebody when they have the eyes there. Yes, it shouldn't be impossible. There should be availability to do so. But that creator also needs to have the availability to protect themselves. And it's like, we are putting thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of eyes on the people that are uncomfortable, not only with themselves, but who they are as people. And we see that with Nappy. Like, he is uncomfortable, obviously questioning his sexuality at that point, and he's kind of keeping it under wraps, because if he feels like he comes out, he feels like everybody's going to ostracize him. And I understand exactly where that could come from. But as a whole, your personality does not have to be your sexuality. And now we have predators in here that are doing the same exact fucking thing. And as I said, 16 is fucking weird. But when you look at Minecraft, people were going from 16 to 12 very fucking quickly. And Pokemon has a player base that is very similar to Minecraft. So now, as I've said, and I hope that creators hear this, because honestly, if any video other than like something that I've said about mental health goes viral, I hope it's this: stop fucking talking to people over 18 at all.
Under. You said over.
Yeah, under. Stop fucking talking to people that are under 18 at all. Because honestly, nothing good can come from it, especially in this Me Too era, whether that's false allegations or true allegations. It does not matter anymore. All of them are seen as true.
Yeah, minors are trouble.
Protect yourself, protect your pocket, and interacting with them, interact with them in public. Do not fucking private message anybody unless they are of age and available to do the same exact thing you do. I was expecting somebody to jump in, so I stopped ranting. But it's just scary. It's scary.
That's a good cut to the next topic, though.
Yeah.
Think so.
So, obviously, you were telling me about a dude who was catfishing in Pokemon and using kind of the same exact.
Well, I don't know that whole Neil VGC thing. There's just like
I understand. I was going to go into, but there was an accusation about somebody who was catfishing within the Pokemon community during the VGC stuff, and using that to talk to minors, which is absolutely disgusting. But I did something different. Not anywhere similar to that at all. I created Smurf accounts on this game called Yoville. Do either of you guys know what Yoville is?
No.
Verlis? Did you play Yoville? Okay,
No.
So back in the day when there was Farmville and stuff like that, there was this game called Yoville. It was essentially like similar avatars, but like you could buy clothes and buy houses and stuff like that, and you could interact with people and sell things and trade things. And it created essentially a mini economy within like Facebook and MySpace, where you were able to withdraw money essentially because you were trading goods for money and stuff like that, and availability, whether it was art or whether it was the clothing or whatever. You had the availability to kind of interact with those things.
It's like Second Life.
I've never played Second Life, but I assume it's like playing The Sims, except Sims plus Farmville plus just, it's essentially an interaction game. You're selling and buying stuff and trading goods and services. So I was going through and I would go into rooms and I would love doing auctions because, it's not about who I am or what I have on. It's the number that I'm saying out loud. And you're able to interact and fuck with people and make people uncomfortable. And the more you talk, the more people get distracted about what's going on and they don't pay as much. So I kind of was like social engineering exactly how people kind of looked at the game and stuff like that. Then I was like, okay, so when I go to buy this on a dude account, I'm getting this for $4 million. My mom can go in there and get this for 3.5 because she's a female. She can flirt and just get a lower price. I said, you know what? I'm going to create a fake Facebook. So I created a girl Facebook, no friends on it, absolutely didn't give a fuck. And I created a girl version of my Yoville character. I was like, okay,
I don't like this.
let's see what this does. I was saving on average 25% on every single sale that I would buy. And they would buy from females at 10 to 15% higher than the guides for prices just because I was a female avatar. And I remember a movie came out probably like a year or two later, Gamer. And most people will know that game. It's a movie with Gerard Butler, and he's playing like a Call of Duty kind of sim. And there's like a Sims thing where you could have avatars in the game and you controlled real people. And this big fat dude had this really, really attractive female lead. I was like, it's kind of just like everybody kind of does that, I assume. I assume that most females that were in this game were either extremely old, extremely overweight, or fat dudes. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to game the game because it's a fucking game. And I'm just going to use this female avatar and I'm going to absolutely destroy everybody. I made like fucking, I think it was $400 or $500 a month just from playing fucking Yoville and just buying and selling things and just trading cash and getting money back out of it. It absolutely solved my want to buy video games for a good 4 or 5 months, and I just played it endlessly. But I played it as a female character because I thought it was fucking hilarious. And nobody really paid attention. They would just get flirty, and you'd flirt slightly back. Yeah, yeah. You just throw cutie at the end of everything or winky face from like AIM, the fucking little emoticon one instead of the emoji. And everybody all of a sudden was disarmed. Everybody was uncomfortable, I'm sure, but you're just smarter than them. Absolutely did that to make some money.
That was Wild West days because like cash transactional currency stuff is not as easy these days.
Oh, it was against terms of service. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I'm like, what game are you? Yeah, like what TOS breaking illegal game are you playing to pull out $400 a month? That doesn't exist anymore.
Oh no, it really the game itself is there, but it went from like 4 or 5 million player base to like fucking 6,000, I assume. This shit's been fucking up for, almost 20 years now. It's been up since MySpace days, which was 2006. Shit's stupid though. It's fucking crazy watching games like that kind of just do exactly what they're going to do. And the way that different things kind of shift depending on what model you are in game. If there's no voice, it becomes 4chan where it's like tits or get the fuck out. Everybody's a female or everybody's a dude and nobody really genuinely cares. It's just how you speak. And everybody becomes so disconnected and they don't understand because they're so fucking socially unaware.
That kind of happened in a game I played. I've talked about Tree of Life on the channel, which is the greatest MMO that was ever made. And one of my friends did like a female character. And there was like some weird jank with that game where actually if you picked a female character it was better because your hitbox was smaller or some weird shit. Like that I think that was
Call
also
of Duty
PUBG.
had that too.
PUBG had that too. But like he did that. And then because we got in on like early access, he just named himself Girl. So he just role played it fully, and we come back to our base one day, and he's recruited 4 dudes to just slave for him. And it was funny because like these were also some weird people. That one of them was named America, the other one was named Korea. This is the most jank Korean like rip-off shovelware MMO ever, but it was a beautiful disaster, and we loved it so much. And like all of this like wild stuff just kept happening. But yeah, like just Girl. Named himself Girl, got in his like mini army. They built like a base right next door, like right on the border, and start getting all secretive. But then he could just prance in as Girl and suck up some items. It was weird. Everyone does it. Not everyone. Like I've never done that, but everyone's got someone in the group that will be the chick.
Or at least just not talk and have the fucking character name as it. It's really funny. I remember playing Call of Duty Black Ops 1. We would play Headquarters. And, there's always that one person in the lobby that drops 150 kills on Nuketown on fucking headquarters. And it's like, oh, that's fucking scary. I remember this one game. I had a full stack. So we were running 5-6 people deep. And we were stomping fucking everybody. My win-loss ratio in fucking Black Ops 1 was fucking ridiculous. It was like 5 or 6 at a time. And we ended up running into this chick, and her name was Hockey Girl. And I was like, okay, that's a dude. 100% that's a dude. For damn sure that the most retarded name like Hockey Girl, that's a dude. And we get into the endgame lobby. This chick drops like 250 fucking kills. I'm like, what
Absolutely
the fuck
a dude.
what the fuck is this? And the voice comms pop up, and it's legitimately a chick.
No voice
Like,
mod?
No. You got to think this was on Nintendo Wii. So I played Black Ops 1 on Nintendo Wii, and for damn sure they didn't have all the crazy dumb shit. They might have
Dude,
had
get his
English.
sister to talk shit.
No, this chick was like 17, and she was doing it to find dudes, I assume. But she was fucking ridiculous. I've never seen somebody just drop fucking kills every game. She was 60 to 150 kills every single headquarters game. It's like, what the fuck is this?
That's unicorn. That
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
happen.
this makes no sense. Hockey Girl was top tier. As my team's a juice bag and paper man. Hockey Girl on the other team drops 150 kills on Nuketown. It's like, what the fuck?
That's some goth meme chick that everyone wants that doesn't exist, so you're sad, and that's how incels are born, and you met her. Great.
Yeah, she's probably 250 pounds, has a plushie in her arms, and her ass sweats worse than mine. But unicorn. I promise you, they're still there. You got to just go find her. Hockey Girl 2786. Sure, somewhere. They're not a dude, I promise. It's crazy. So I wanted to let everybody know that we finally did exactly what we said we were going to do. So this episode or the next episode, we're not sure which one's going up first or which one's going up where. The members are now available. I think I added 2 tiers. There's a $5 tier and a $10 tier. I don't remember exactly what I put on which one. Me and Verlis will go through the things that you're available to add and all that stuff. I wanted one to be more of like a thanks, and then the other one to be like the tier that you get things from.
Perks.
So $5 is like guests and stuff like that, knowing what's going on. Or if we have a question for you guys or this or that, that's going to go up in the polls and the availability for the $5 tier. $10 tier is you will have all of the episodes that will be available early. They will be available to you first. So if we record an episode like this or the one that we record tomorrow a week early, you will have it for a week, and it will go then live at normal time on Wednesday or Thursday. I think we're doing Thursdays now. It seems like that's working out pretty good. But so the members are now launched completely, and I also did a thing. So merch. There will be a merch drop. You're not fucking seeing a damn thing until I get it, because I want to make sure it's all high quality and stuff like that first. But there will be a merch drop on the May 1st episode, whether that's recorded May 1st or released May 1st. I'm not looking at the calendar. But that episode will have the merch link in it. Wednesday, May 1st is the record date, not the release date. So the merch link will already be live on that episode. And obviously, I don't know if we're pre-recording anything, so I can't say, oh, it's available in the description. If this is the May 1st episode, which I don't think it is, it'll be down there. I don't think it's going to be. I think this is probably going to be this week or next week.
You're running all this stuff. I'm just here to be angry.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
You're here to hang out and have some fun and bullshit. But yeah,
I'm just happy I'll be having some more emojis to spam in my comments.
Yeah, and
you can't go cross-channel comments. Oh, your comments on this video, yeah.
All right.
Dude, how has YouTube dropped the ball? Like, you can sub to some memer on Twitch and then drop some like shitpost emojis anywhere across the platform. YouTube doesn't allow it.
Also, this is not part of this merch drop, but I'll tease the next one. I've started working on a whole bunch of emotion Pokemon that will be available as emojis already down in the description of this video and the next video that we record. There's Depresso Espresso and Upsetty Spaghetti. They're already in the comments and available for you guys to use if you're a member. So just a nice little tease and have some fun. Go use those in the comments and make everybody want to pay. I think it's kind of funny, but I figured releasing a whole bunch of like Pokemon themed emojis and stuff as like t-shirts, whether they're like little cheap ones that people can collect and shit. I thought that was a cool idea. So like I like it. Let's work on it and kind of workshop it. I got some cool shit going on. So I figured I was like, yeah, let's make this shit. So yeah, I was excited about that. So I just wanted to talk about it, make sure that it was brought up so that way everybody kind of can start getting on the shit so that way they see it already. And I will I forgot to send you guys these before the show. I will show you guys the Pokemon that I made. I used AI because I thought it was fun. Because, you know, whatever. There's that one. There's spaghetti.
Oh yeah, I got it.
And yeah, no, tease these guys. Exactly. There's Depresso.
I like the Depresso. I think
I
would work
like it
well as
too.
an emoji
Yeah.
too.
That's a good one. I
Yeah.
don't get the spaghetti. Like that's just your ADHD brain, but then it
No, I tried
connected
to make
on-
it yelling and screaming and aggressive, but it didn't fucking work. But
like
you
I
know,
just
whatever.
think like who's gonna wear that? But all right.
Well, you know, the shit that Gary Vee did with Happy Hippo and all that shit fucking went crazy. So, you know.
And people bought Meat Canyon's Bad Dragon unironically, so anything's possible, I guess.
Not there's some people that just like being impregnated by alien dicks, I guess. I don't
It's not even that.
understand,
It's more of an abomination than that.
So these absolute fucking buffoon retards are still commenting about your fucking collar, and I find it hilarious every single fucking time. I'm like, oh look, 3 collar comments this week. I was like, fucking hell, it's going down finally.
Bro, the mass formation on that's so weird. Like, it seems like you have to wait for the initial collar comment, and then everyone just piles in on that, and then they just keep doing it. Why?
Especially if we're having a super in-depth, introspective conversation. Look, we could be talking about mental health. They'll be like, I'm going to listen to somebody with a fucking collar on.
Like,
I'm
you
a
need
cool guy.
you need the help more than anyone here.
Brother, wearing a collar, ironically, because of things that you perceive in the world, is funny. You can't perceive the world at all enough to understand that you're a fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's worse? I don't know, man. Like, one of those seems much, much worse.
Yeah,
But,
the
you
good
know.
shutdown is like people are like, why are you wearing collar? I say to make you uncomfortable, and then they're just like, fuck.
Exactly.
Random 1064 left the chat.
Oh, there was somebody who called me a mental case. That was fucking hilarious.
Well, you kind of are.
Oh, absolutely. But you know, I'm a hell of a lot more put together than a dude who uses an AI chick with big titties as his avatar. Where is this? I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, roasting comments, that's always a good idea for channel growth. And that's another thing I never understood is like people say like never insult your audience. Like, yeah, but half your audience is stupid and not even subscribed and will never watch another video.
Okay, so this dude has 1 subscriber. He has his full fucking name, if it's really his name, as his fucking YouTube at, which is hilarious. I love when people do that. You're fucking 2 forehead. He said that I made up the fact that I threw up for 3 days because of burgers. No, really fucking happened, you retard. Then he called
No
me
one's
a
had
mental
food poisoning
case.
ever in history ever.
Then he called me a mental case because we were talking about mental health and shit like that. And then he said that we were whining because there was a drastic increase in school absences. Motherfucker, it sounds like you are becoming a hater or obsessed, and that's really fucking weird. Suck my nuts, you fucking weirdo. I'm gonna keep whining. I'm gonna keep complaining, and guess what? It helps some people. You know, it seems like I have a hell of a lot more people listening to me than you. Cope. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yep.
So, what the fuck? Oh yeah, we wanted to talk about this shit. Nirth, do you wanna kind of summarize this for us? I'll post it in the chat. So I just saw this as I was opening up my computer today. Actually, it popped up on, you know, that stupid fucking computer OneDrive thing that pops up and tells you, "Oh, look, this news happened today."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck is going on?" I'm like,
Windows news down your throat.
oh, I actually like it because it kind of summarizes everything and it's not all directly, you know, bullshit. Some of it's bullshit. Like the second highest story right now is water bearers are an incredible response to radiation surprises. the fuck? This thing looks like a pig, and it has like baby doll arms coming out of it, and it looks like a hippopotamus. But you know, some of it's cool. So I found the
Still
story.
full of ads.
Yeah.
All right, so the article is about melatonin makers urged to adopt new guidelines as emergency room visits rise. And apparently, there are just children using melatonin unsupervised.
I don't think it's just
is strange.
unsupervised. And that's where it gets weird. It seems like everybody's taking melatonin.
Oh, it's melatonin gummies.
Yeah.
That's probably where the unsupervision comes in, because kids like, oh, it's like a vitamin gummy, and they take like 4 and need to be hospitalized.
You don't even need to be hospitalized. You sleep it off. But regardless, the fact that they make them childlike with gummies kind of bothers me. Like, is there Tylenol PM fucking gummies? No, you fucking weirdos. We don't fucking do that. Just because it's naturally made within our body makes it a thing for us to be able to take in a gummy form. First off, is fucking weird to me. Like, what other medication other than vitamins are gummies? Because I can't think of any.
I think there's actually quite a bit. Like, you can take zinc and vitamin C.
That's a
Well, actually,
vitamin,
you said, yeah. I was just like, wait, never mind. I think there's maybe something, but yeah. Also, further down the article, it does say 11,000 reported emergency department visits for unsupervised melatonin ingestion. So that's actually like the bigger thing. I thought this was more like, oh, kids are having like sleep deprivation, so parents are just throwing melatonin at them until it gets worse. It's all fucked.
That's where it gets worse to me, is you know for damn sure that if a kid says, oh, look, melatonin, this helps me sleep enough to the point where they are taking it, they are comfortable enough to know where it is, know what it does, and are comfortable with what it does enough and was normalized enough for them to feel like they can take it.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, the article is just about the effect, but not the cause. Like, how does the kid get into the position of unsupervised melatonin? Well, it starts with the parent giving them deliberately until it gets out of control, or they sneak a few.
Yeah. So to me, the bigger cause and effect here is, you know for damn sure that a lot more people now are suffering with ADHD things where they're not able to break down a whole bunch of thought and they're having problems sleeping.
Methylfolate, that'll fix you right up.
Yep. There is answers. Go find them.
That goes back to my friend that I keep ranting about, who's a commie. He never listens to me about any of my good advice. He's one of those people that also uses ADHD as like an excuse for everything. Like, oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to ADHD. Oh, I couldn't build anything in my life because of ADHD kind of thing. I'm just like, bro, like, if you ignore everything but this one thing, methylfolate, it fucking cleans out your brain, because you're probably one of the, like, it's a 50-50 if you have the genetic defect that doesn't allow you to do whatever with folate. And the thing is, he's like, oh, I'd start taking B vitamins. Like, which B vitamins are you taking, my guy? Folate, because that's a B vitamin. It's like, you're making your ADHD worse by putting too much B vitamins into your brain. Yeah, if you actually have it. Because you're not even breaking down, and now there's more, and it seems like it has been getting worse because he's more forgetful, more distracted. And he won't listen to that. And also, he can't take vitamins properly because he doesn't want to do it because it makes him nauseous, because he's never had vitamins before, so his body doesn't know what to do with it. And I tell him to take fish oil and it just doesn't sit. Like, methylfolate, please. Even if you don't think you need it, just take it. It can't do anything bad for you.
You want to know the weird thing? You want to know a very, very easy test if you actually have ADHD, or you want to see if somebody has ADHD. Hand them caffeine. Because if they get hyper, if they start going fucking erratic, they don't have ADHD. They're a fucking retard. They're a normal fucking person. This, I can drink this entire fucking thing. Use code RMTS at G Fuel. Absolutely love them. I can drink this entire fucking can and go to sleep, and I will have the best sleep that I've ever had. You will not be able to sleep for 3-4 hours. Make sure to drink all of your caffeine before 5 o'clock if you go to sleep.
No, I can sleep. My tolerance is too high. But most people won't.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Isn't that fucking weird? That literally, it's so easy to figure out if you are neurodivergent at all, that you just take the thing that everybody takes at the start of their morning. This mellows me out.
Yeah, caffeine doesn't work on him.
Yeah, you want to see me erratic? Stop giving me caffeine. Then it gets worse. stop letting me take my Adderall. It gets really bad.
And the
I
good
start
thing
thinking
about
about
G
offing
Fuel
myself
is it's
every day.
not just caffeine; it has the focus complex.
Mm-hmm.
So that keeps you focused. It gives you the caffeine effect without the caffeine, despite your ADHD.
Yep. But no, it's really fucking weird. I love when people are like, "Oh, I'm ADHD." No, you are just an asshole. You are just an asshole because you don't give a fuck about everybody else's opinions and thoughts so much that you just zone everybody out because it's a trigger response. That's it.
Oh yeah, we talked about that where you were like, "Oh, ADHD is a response to trauma and like has triggers and stuff," and like the most of the people just kind of use it. Yeah, we've already been over that, and it all comes together.
Yeah, exactly. But whatchamacallit? So this melatonin thing, uh, that's where this shit starts like triggering me because if these kids are so comfortable that they have to put child locks on melatonin, number one, why the fuck was there not child locks on melatonin when there is on every other fucking medication in the fucking world? Like, Nurse, in that side of the world, when you grab a bottle of paracetamol, I believe that's what it's called there. I know
Yes.
everywhere else it's different than here. I know Tylenol it's here, Motrin it's here, paracetamol I believe there. Is it child lock? Do you have to press down and turn, or do you just open it like a normal bottle?
A lot of that stuff just comes in the what would you call those? It's just like a sheet of aluminum
Yeah, but you
stuff,
have
and
to
you
press
pop
it out,
them out.
right? Yeah.
No,
You pop
he's
them out,
actually
but
talking
it's not
about like the
a
little package, right? Like
The
a square
sheets.
package you rip open. Or
yeah,
no?
and then it's like a metal sheet with like
Yeah,
I
that's
don't have
still
any, but
considered child safe.
Really?
really?
Yes, yes, that's still considered child safe. So that's one of the cool things is those things are considered child safe. So discount all of those. When you buy a pill bottle, does it come where you have to press it down and turn it, or is it
Most
just
things,
turn?
yeah, that have any sort of like health
Mm-hmm.
influence. Whether
So
if
where
it's
the
like vitamin C has one of those.
yeah,
Pretty sure.
it makes no fucking sense to me why all of a sudden melatonin, which is not good for you at all, we're not supposed to be taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that allowed to not have a child lock on it guaranteed always?
Well, I think it's just like if you think kids don't want to go to sleep, they want sugar. They want to be up all night playing video games. So why would they want melatonin under any circumstance, even if they stumble into it? Like they'll fall asleep and never take it again. But no,
Okay,
we're fucked.
so I have a 3-year-old, and you want to know how I get them to take their vitamin gummies? Look, here's gummies.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are fucking dumb. It's not complicated. And these people are so fucking burnt out that they're like, here's some gummies. And they're fucking drugging their kid. And I know you guys probably don't have kids yet, but have you guys ever heard like your parents or your grandparents talk? Oh, yeah, we used to rub your gums with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
We used to rub your gums with this or that, or we gave you some alcohol to put you to sleep and feel comfortable. This is the same shit.
Yeah,
This is the same exact shit.
probably
But they're like,
worse.
yeah, because now you're building a dependency. Like everybody, I remember back in the day, they're like, "Oh yeah, this sleep aid's non-dependent forming." You want to know the dependent forming sleep aid? Fucking melatonin. You literally develop a dependence on it. So now you're making your kid a fucking drug addict. You fucking
Actually, that just
dipshit.
makes a lot of sense because anything you give your body a surplus of, it stops producing. Your body produces melatonin. That's how you go to sleep. So if you just keep injecting it, your body's just going to not care. Kind of like if you take what's it called, laxatives. Like if you take too much laxatives, your shit just stops working.
Yeah, everything stops fucking working. Your asshole stops working. Your fucking gut stops working. You just push the shit out. It just goes. Or you get so constipated that you have a fucking baby of shit in your stomach. Like, it's fucking weird to me. You are literally, you're causing your body not to create the thing that you wanted to fucking work with. And it's just like my mom used to take Tylenol PM every single day because she would work nights and she had to sleep during the day, which is super fucked up for your body. Some people can do it and some people can't.
Mm-hmm.
So she developed insomnia and not being able to sleep because of fucking medication dependence because she took Tylenol PM. She at the end of her taking Tylenol PM, she was taking 4 or 5 of them at a time.
Oh, that's
Now,
doing great things to your liver.
that's fucked up. That could fuck you up so fucking badly. But as a whole, like You're just doing the same thing to your kids. We've normalized this shit that we've normalized something that we legitimately don't know what it's going to do.
Well, we've
Again.
done that with a lot of things.
And now all of a sudden, like these are the same people that told you cigarettes were okay for you in the 60s and 80s, but said that they were bad in the 70s and 90s. Like we're still not, human enough to understand that there's a difference.
Yeah. Weird
That's
thing is
always super
melatonin.
curious to me where there's probably a lot of things that we are doing and taking for granted today. And then in 10, 20 years time, you look back and go like, oh man, that was a bad idea.
Oh, all this processed food and seed oil and sugar. That's great. Remember when fat was bad? No, fat's good. Like actual, like pure fat, like from animal fat, good.
What the fuck is a trans fat? Like there's saturated fat, there's normal fat, which is dry fat. What's trans fat?
Like some artificial process. We don't know. We don't know what it's doing to you. Oh, he's going to look it up too.
Yeah, it's the different. It's the one that's in between trans fat and saturated fat and non-saturated fat. It's essentially like half fucking hydrated.
That's why it's called trans fat, right? Because it's like transition fat.
Yeah, it will transition in between saturated and unsaturated depending on, I think, the shelf stability of it or something similar to that. I'm a retard online. Don't take health advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta spend a bit more time to really remember.
Well, I was going to say, like, melatonin never worked on me because, like, I play too many games, I make too many videos, I drink too much caffeine, so my sleep schedule is always terrible. But, like, I tried melatonin, I'm like, yep, I'm just one of those people it doesn't work on. And then I try to not habit form off of, like, PM stuff. Like, if I really need it, I'll take, like, 2 PM once a month to, like, reset a sleep schedule if I need to. But I know, like, I'm very aware. I'm like, oh, I don't overtake aspirin because you become habit forming on it and it takes more to get rid of the headache. I'll just tank a headache and I'll get better.
Well, that's because there's actually a cause for a headache. How many things in your body that you're like, okay, there's not a reason that this thing hurts. My knee's not going to hurt unless it's, the knee I injured or I walked into a fucking wall. Guess what? Heals a fucking injury. Why the fuck do you have a headache? Are you fucking dehydrated, you little dipshit? Did you not drink enough today? Come on, go get a G Fuel, go get a fucking hydration drink and fucking rehydrate and feel better. Oh,
or
that
eye
didn't
strain
work?
from the computer, turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many things that have a direct correlation and answer. And so many people are fucking retarded enough to not understand that there's a difference. They're like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm okay. Don't even worry about it. No, you're fucking not okay. You're fucking retarded.
And then they medicate out of it, which doesn't cure the like core problem, and then adds the extra problem of the medication screwing up other things in your body. Everyone's just
I got a Tylenol
well.
and Motrin deficiency, brother. I got a Tylenol and Motrin deficiency. It's the entire fucking problem. I absolutely don't have a migraine because I haven't eaten in 18 hours. I haven't drank any bit of water. I haven't drank anything other than, hypercarbonated, hyper sugar fucking soda for the past 30 years. I promise you, nothing's wrong with me. Tylenol deficiency. That's why I have a headache. Gotta keep going.
It's also weird because, like, okay, so I take Tylenol to mask the pain. The reason why I'm in pain didn't go away, so when the Tylenol wears off, I'm still in pain, and I'm in more pain because I ignored it, and just that cycle. That's why, like, yeah, if there's something wrong, I'll just tank until my body gets better on its own or something, and then at least I didn't form an addiction, and at least I kind of figured out what the problem was.
I'm on that page too. I very, very, very rarely use any painkillers whatsoever. Just tank it out.
It gets bad. I remember when I As always, boys, use code RMTS at checkout. Use code Verlisify at checkout. 20% off. Shows G Fuel. We love them. Absolutely the only energy drink we drink every single day. So go give them some love. They deserve it. I developed a mouth infection so bad that like I turned into the fucking exorcist. I was on the couch. I was home alone at some point, and my mouth pain just started, and it was like a switch turned on. All of a sudden, like it just tensed up my neck. I couldn't move my neck. Like 20 minutes later, I'm sitting on the bed. No, I was sitting on the couch in the living room. My head was touching the couch. My feet were touching the couch. The rest of my body was rigid in a fucking U, and I couldn't fucking get it to let go. It aggravated the
That
nerve in
sounds
my
like
face and in my
tetanus.
neck. No, I legitimately had a tooth broke, and I had an infection in my mouth that was sitting on the fucking nerve.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it happened
it
to me
locked up.
when I talked about getting my tooth pulled earlier this year.
Yeah, it locked up my entire neck and back, and it wouldn't let the muscles go, so I couldn't get it to fucking relax. So my mom brought me to the same shitty hospital that told her to hold me down as they rebroke my arm. And I'm sitting there, and they're like, "Yeah, at this time, I really didn't understand different races. So this Jewish doctor came in, and I'm like, fuck, is this dude really gonna know what the fuck's going on? Because I didn't understand like people could be educated because I was a fucking retard at the time. He's like, Zach, and he treated me with such care, and this is where I kind of started opening up. He's like, Zach, buddy, you got such a bad mouth infection right now. I'm gonna give you an antibiotic, but let's see if we can deal with this pain. And I never really kind of had anybody kind of look at anything I had in that way of like, let's deal with this. Let's not just treat the symptoms. He's like, but it's going to be bad. This is probably going to be just as bad a pain as handling the pain that you just dealt with. He's like, see this needle? This is what I got to do. I got to take this Novocaine. I got to push it into the roof of your mouth, into the nerve that's in this half of your face, and hope that it doesn't paralyze your face, but kill the nerve in this section so that way it doesn't affect your mouth anymore. So that way in the next week, you can get it taken out. You'll have it taken care of and everything else. I've had zero problems like that ever again because he actually he's like, most people, this works 30 minutes. There's some people that never have a problem again. Let's just hope that you never have a problem again. It literally fixed the entire problem, had no pain in it at all. I couldn't feel the infection leave. I couldn't feel the infection pop. Literally had no feeling in that part of my mouth for like 30 days. And now I have just like touch sensation, which is how you want to deal with pain. It's just, there's pressure there. That's about it.
Fortunately, I didn't have an infection. Just the nerve got hot from a broken tooth on the back, but that was a 10. That was a 10 pain for most of the hours of my day. And I was just like, I kept putting like a numbing cream on it, and I would bring it down to like 7, and I was like, okay, I gotta get it pulled. And it was the same thing where like
one that works.
I don't remember what I ended up taking. I took like 3 different ones, and one was better.
There's gels and creams.
I think I got like an Oragel 5X or something. That was what was good.
The Oragel gel, absolute garbage, doesn't fucking work. You just swallow it. Your throat gets tingly for a little bit. If you want a good blowjob, have a girl swish with that for a couple minutes. If you want to deal with mouth pain, no, it makes their throat numb. They can gag on you all fucking day. It's fantastic. But the cream that is, I believe, Walmart brand, it's got little green flakes in it. It literally solves all of your nerve pain within your mouth completely. It's just like it actually sticks there, which probably makes it more impactful. As long as you don't drink for like 5 minutes, all of your pain's gone. It literally relieves all of the situation. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and well, with mine, like the Oragel was the thing that like kept it under control for a bit, but it took I think 8 shots of Novocaine to actually like make it to where they could pull my tooth, because it was like take a shot, wait a couple minutes, try to pull, nope, too much pain. And then it was the one where like he was like, all right, you're not gonna like this. This is the last resort shot, and that's when like they go into the roof of your mouth and like hit it from behind. That did it. Then I didn't feel anything. It was so weird because I'm like, wait, I just went from like maxed out pain to where they just pull it and you don't feel anything. Like when they hit the nerve and they kill that nerve, it works. Would recommend.
No, it's crazy how weird and in-depth mouth pain is. It's literally the worst pain you possibly could get. And but as a whole, once you fix it, it is so tangential of that's the thing that hurt. Yeah. There is no more pain anymore. It's just switch.
Just as long as you don't fuck nerve, up. You kill the nerve, and then it heals over, and your body forgets it ever happened.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Sorry, I'm looking through Am I the Asshole? So,
well, we have the one. I'll read it.
Yep.
Fuck it. Pull it up. Do you have it up? Or ready to go up?
I would rather not put it up on the screen. You read it. Just because it looks ugly and gross until I create a custom fucking scene for that. There you go.
All right.
Um,
Am I the
and I will
asshole
keep
for
looking.
being honest with my girlfriend when she asked a question about the birthday cake she made for me? I, 34 male, had a birthday yesterday. My girlfriend, 36 female, offered to bake me a cake. I told her I'd prefer a chocolate cake, devil's food, with chocolate icing, nothing fancy. She's usually a great baker. I guess she thought that wasn't sophisticated enough for her, so she baked me a chocolate cake with vanilla icing in between the 2 layers of cake, then surrounding in chocolate frosting. The cake was fine, but I was disappointed because it's not what I wanted. She must have noticed and asked me if I was disappointed, so I was honest with her. I said, yeah, I was disappointed. If I wanted vanilla cake, I would have asked for vanilla cake. I didn't make a scene, didn't pout. I even ate half a slice of the chocolate part. She got upset with me and said, but I made vanilla cake before and you liked it. I pointed out I don't mind vanilla icing, it's just not what I wanted for my birthday. Her feelings were hurt. She even pulled an I'm not going to make you cake anymore. And I replied with I'll order my own, turned into a fight, and that was the last straw. She asked me to leave over this, later texted me that I embarrassed her in front of the kids, and now she won't reply to my messages. Well, her kids, not like because they're just girlfriend, boyfriend, but yeah, that's like the big thing.
Okay, Nerd,
Is he
what do you
the
think?
asshole?
For sure, yes.
What?
He's the asshole?
Yes. Yeah. I think if she was fishing for some preferences and then just made the executive decision of going for something else, especially if there is a past here of him liking that, I think if someone made you a cake, then that should be enough, and not to like go above and beyond to hit every box. But
So
yeah.
when you asked for something for your birthday, like that lovely sweater you're wearing.
Yeah, if I asked for something, that's different. But this seemed like
No,
That's what he said. He asked. You have the link,
she
right?
asked him directly what kind of cake he wanted, what availability he wanted, when he wanted it, down to the T of what he wanted. So like if you told me you wanted that lovely fucking sweater, black and gray and nice little Christmas print, and I handed you a fucking pink sweater, same exact thing with dicks on it.
No, it's not that. No, it's not that. It's like it's that sweater except the pink snowflakes. When you just wanted a black and white sweater, nothing fancy.
Just a Norwegian wool sweater. Yeah, no, I think it
just
depends on
change the flavor.
who asked though. Like if
the guy
she
asked,
was
he
the
said,
one-
"I just want." The guy said, "I just want a chocolate cake, chocolate icing. That's it." She was the one that stepped in and went, "I'm gonna add vanilla because it's a little fancy."
Or just her preference.
I think there's some language here that I'm not getting. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, what part maybe?
Yeah, I think so. For example, if it is the lady asking him what kind of cake he would want.
That's what happened.
My girlfriend offered to bake me a cake. I told her I'd prefer chocolate cake with chocolate icing and nothing fancy. She decided to add vanilla icing in between the layers against his asking of just only chocolate.
I see. I think in that case, if she's the one offering to do something nice for him, then yeah, I don't think you should make a scene over a birthday cake personally, but that's my...
All right, so it doesn't change.
Though if he was to come directly to her and ask for a cake, that would be way different in my view.
Well, it's a birthday cake, so
yeah.
So,
but then yeah, I think the starting point there differs for me anyway.
So at the beginning, I can understand where, you didn't react properly. And I think that's what Nirth was kind of touching on. He didn't react properly because he wasn't overly thankful for the cake that was made for him. It wasn't what he wanted, but he was kind of shitty about it. You're kind of an asshole at that point. You're shitty. You're being, oh, yeah, you didn't make it exactly how I wanted. Neurodivergent people will focus on exactly what they say. And I don't think a lot of people understand this about people with ADHD or autistic people or anything in that realm, is when I say something, that's exactly how I want it done or better. Not different, better. Like if you can add something to something that will make it better in my opinion, not yours, not because I don't care about your opinion, but because you're asking my opinion about something, it's very hard for me to change from what I perceive. Unless you can explain it in a different way, that it's hard for me to kind of change what I want in that situation, because I probably have already thought about it. I probably have already figured out exactly what my favorite food is or exactly what my favorite cake is. I'm telling you exactly what I want. So don't change from that, because like you, it's hard for me to tell you what I want, but once I'm able to, don't change from it. But the girlfriend's completely the asshole, and this is why. The fact that she turned the kids into the situation that was about a fucking birthday cake, you're a fucking cunt, lady. End of story right there.
We gotta cut that one, right?
No, she's a fucking cunt.
Twice? Oh god.
The reason she is because the fact that she gaslit the situation to the point where it affected the kids at all. This should not be a breaking of a relationship that kids are involved in at all. The fact that you're like, oh yeah, you didn't like the cake I made, you fucking get out. You know what? You made my kid so sad because you were sad about a cake I made. Fuck it. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my life.
I don't even think the kids were sad, like just embarrassed in front of the kids. She didn't want to be put down in front of the kids that bad, and then like she took it personally.
So she took an ego hit because she was told,
ego
hey,
in front of the kids.
I don't like this one as much as the cake that I asked you for because I was dead. It's like saying, you know what? I want a pumpkin pie tonight, and you hand me a fucking cherry pie. Guess what? I like fucking pie. I like cherry pie. But guess what? I had my mind fucking set on that fucking pumpkin pie. I was going to eat the entire fucking thing. Guess what? I wasn't going to share with you. I was really fucking excited about it. But guess what? You fucked it up. You didn't do what I asked you to do. I was very direct. So guess what? She's the asshole. In every single step of the thing. You don't fucking change what I asked for. If you want to add to it, you want to make a separate one because you want fucking vanilla frosting in between it, go ahead. But guess what? I asked you for something directly. Do not change from what I asked for unless you're trying to overachieve and then be expectant of criticism because, there's difference of people.
Yeah, I don't think the guy is the asshole in any way. I don't think he even overreacted. I don't think he had any problems whatsoever. Because my thing is, like, it's my birthday. Like, maybe if it was just a regular day. If it was like, hey, honey, I feel like baking you a cake. And you go, oh, just all chocolate. And then she gets a little spicy with it. Then he'd be out of line. But for the birthday, it's like, at least respect someone's wishes. Put them over you for their day is my take. Which is why I don't think he's an asshole. And even, like, he has criticism of it because she's the one that changed it. It'd be like if you went to a restaurant, they gave you a burger, you didn't ask for ketchup, they put ketchup on it, you're fine with ketchup, you don't want that ketchup on the burger. Like, the restaurant isn't going to change because the chef goes, I think it's better with this. And, like, so, and she offered for the birthday. So I think, like, yeah, you just do what you're offered, or, like, do what you're told. Oh, God, that's actually terrible to say about women. But in this case, like, yeah, don't try to take that extra spin on it and then get upset when the other person isn't satisfied.
No, the reason why she's an asshole and why she's a bitch in this situation isn't because, she overstepped. If she said, hey, I want a 36 size C bra with lingerie that matches and he gets something wrong, she's going to throw a fucking fit.
Yeah, I have no problem with her getting upset at like the response.
When things aren't done the way that you want it. She got ego hurt and turned it into a breakup in front of children about a fucking birthday cake that he didn't ask for.
Yeah. Well, if you go to the Reddit, like, they bullied this dude into apologizing. Edit. After looking at the comments, I've apologized to my girlfriend for being a partial asshole, but also asked her for an apology as well, so we're 50-50 on it. She hasn't replied yet. I'll assume I'll hear from her today.
Gaslit, gatekeep, girl boss. That's what they all do.
Top comment, you're the asshole, 5K. Not for saying the cake wasn't what you wanted, but because you should have kept your mouth shut. Reddit is a cesspool. I hate it. He did nothing wrong. He didn't even need to apologize. It wasn't even 50-50. Maybe 95-5.
Nirth, you get to choose which one you want to read off, buddy. I'm going to give you the titles. Go play a fucking game. You're going to tell us which one you want to read out. Okay. Right. Am I the asshole for saying my wife will have to quit her job if we get booted from another daycare? Am I the asshole for telling one of my daughter's classmates' moms to fuck off about what I put in my daughter's lunch? Or am I the asshole for checking my husband's dash cam footage without his consent?
The lunch one, I guess.
The lunch one?
Oh, one seems too safe, but all right.
No, because it could get really bad. They could be putting fucking peanut butter in that shit and killing people. There you go. There you go. Read off that one.
All
Seems like
right.
it's not too lengthy, so we should be okay.
The whole thing, or should I stop midway somewhere?
Read through
When
the
we get the
entire thing
gist.
until yeah, exactly.
All right. Am I the asshole for telling one of my daughter's classmates' moms to F off about what I put in my daughter's lunch? No names in the story, but the story is real. For some context before the story, I, 38 female, cook Asian foods regularly for dinner, and my daughter, Lily, 7 female, lunches at school. This is because my family enjoys these foods. I like to cook these foods, and my mom cooked a bunch of these foods growing up since she's half Japanese. Oftentimes, I'll either give my daughter some leftovers from last night's dinner, plus a fruit, veggie, and a snack, or I'll make her a quick little bento box or some other thing really quickly. So, after school one day, my daughter wanted to play on the playground for a bit before we went home. I said she could play for a few minutes, and then she ran off to play. I was waiting next to this other parent who we'll call Deborah. While I was waiting, Deborah came up to me. Deborah, are you Lily's mother? And then the person, oh yeah, I am. Why? Well, your daughter's lunches have been bothering my son, and I would like to ask you to pack something else. What? How are they bothering him? She then proceeded to start talking about how her son was complaining about my daughter's lunches smelling terrible, and he thought it was disgusting. She also said her son didn't eat most of his lunch because he was so grossed out. Okay, I understand your son doesn't like the smell, but can't he just sit somewhere else? That would be my thought too. Are you kidding me? My son shouldn't have to put up with whatever crap you make your daughter bring to this school. It's disgusting. And she started making more vaguely racist complaints, but I was fed up at this point. And then, yeah, the storyteller. Listen,
She pretty
I
much just told her
understand.
to fuck off.
Yeah. Listen, I understand your son might not like my daughter's food, but he can very easily just not sit next to her. I'm not changing what's in my daughter's lunches because you and your kid don't want to exist near Asian food. F off. She angrily stomped off with her kid then, and my daughter finished playing soon after, so we went home. I talked to my husband about it, and he said that maybe I shouldn't have told her to F off to avoid her bothering us in the future. Am I the asshole?
So what do you think, Verlis? Who's the asshole?
I wish we had more information. Like, how bad smelling is this food? Is my thought. I don't think it's an immediate not the asshole, and I'm always suspicious on Reddit when people try to farm the not the asshole points when they start like, well, she was vaguely racist. Like when I sense too much deflection, I feel like there's embellishment on the story, and that makes me
Mhm.
sus. And also, like, yeah, maybe you don't tell them screw off at that point. Maybe you get the teacher involved. Like, what's the teacher's ruling? Does the teacher say, like, yeah, I smelled it. You can smell it across the entire classroom. Maybe a little too much. Like, I don't think there's enough details here. And that's, like,
I'm in the same camp.
yeah, like, I'm sus. I'm sus on it. And
This seems, yeah,
yeah, that's
just
where
too
I'm at.
much in the storyteller's position. There's probably some details here that are left out.
Mhm.
I'm just super curious, though, why they would play together if the food is
Yeah.
so smelly.
Exactly, like,
And
why doesn't the kid move? Like, if he's that should be his autonomous decision, not Deborah saying, well, my kid's not gonna move. It's disgusting. And yeah, Deborah's out of line. Everyone's out of line. And maybe there's misinformation or missing information. Teacher should step in and solve it.
Okay,
They
so
get
to
the
me,
ruling.
both of these moms are fucking Karens. Both of them. They both got
Yeah.
fucking sticks up their ass. They have no idea how to fucking handle people. They're both bad people. Like they are the
Mhm.
motherfucker that are like, give me your manager when nothing's fucking happened.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I'm getting a discount today because I decided I'm not spending $26. I'm spending 22. The mom is the asshole, number one, because first off, most Asian food has fish in it. Like, I think most people can understand that.
Yeah. Also, it's
Technically,
leftovers. Leftovers can get smelly.
I'm not even going to go into the smelly shit
Mhm.
because that's kind of retarded at that point. First off, So there should not be any fish ever given, right? So if you're only giving leftovers, there's going to be fish included in those. You technically are not supposed to be sending that to school. Obviously, that's kind of from the dad perspective of knowing, there's kids that are allergic to that shit. My kids' schools are peanut free completely because my son is anaphylactic to it. Not because I'm trying to Karen people into not giving their kid a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but he shared his drink with his friend the other day and he blew up like a fucking balloon because the kid had a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch on the bus ride home. He just shared a water bottle. Like this shit isn't a game. Not because everybody's a fucking pussy nowadays, but because as a whole, we've developed these allergies to these things because they're not in our culture anymore. They're just so disconnected from some people that it's just not there. So like as a whole, if you're sending fish with your kid, you're completely the asshole because you seem like one of those parents that, oh, I'm going to send my kid with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich anyway, because you know what? They're a fucking weak kid anyway.
I think you might be overstepping or overreaching on that one. Because, like, if there was a rule no fish, makes sense. But if no one has a problem with fish, then it should be fine to send. I don't think it's a spite play.
I'm saying if there is that thing, you are an asshole. Because that's the point where she could be the asshole. I don't think your reaction is wrong. I think you farmed karma, though, because you absolutely didn't say any of the racist things. Because if it was so ghastly that you had to say, oh, she said racist things.
I'm Asian. She made a racist remark.
You're going to say quote in fucking chat because chat will make you feel real bad.
No, you just cannot complete that one.
I didn't do the eyes. Absolutely makes it okay.
You can't do either.
No, you can do one or the other. As a whole, then obviously probably wasn't said. What, did she make a joke about Kung Fu to try and disconnect the situation? Is that what she did? I promise you that if it was that racist, you would have said it because you would have got more karma for it. You're just trying to be fucking validated. You're a Karen. Fuck off. Deborah.
I thought this story was going to go. Oh, you want to give your thoughts on Deborah?
Yeah, Deborah's an asshole because she stood her ground. That's the only reason Deborah's an asshole. She's a Karen because she said, no, fuck you. Change. You don't get to tell other people to change. You could not accept them. You could be an asshole in that way, but you cannot tell other people to change because they are not how you perceive them they have to be. That is it. You're an asshole because you're fucking intolerant, you fucking douchebag. You probably have one of those Kate Gosselin haircuts and you have 6 kids that are running around being a whole bunch of fucking miscreants, probably doing drugs behind your back. And, they're probably scumbags who don't listen, but you're probably a professional mom. That's about it. That's probably all you got going on, Deborah.
I thought that this story was going to go in a different way and it was going to be like an obvious one. So at least actually Nirth made a surprise good pick. I thought this was going to be my kid feels bad that her lunch is better and this is a bad reflection of me as a parent. I thought that was this. Yeah, because that's like,
you. I'm fishing. I'm fishing for the good ones.
Yeah, 90% of Am I the Asshole is like, I was dancing in the park to my ballet music, or I was doing yoga in the park, and someone came up and slapped me. Am I the asshole? It's like that's like 90% of them. And then this one actually had nuance.
I got you, boys. I got you. So what do you think, Nirth? Who's the asshole?
I'm surprised though that the kid that was having the lunch wouldn't have that conversation with their parents if they are having problems at school. Because if it's really smelly and you sit in the room, like I would guess that would give them a lot of unwanted attention.
These kids are 8-year-olds. So I know grading is a little different there. So that's like I don't remember where your guys' changes. This is 1st or 2nd grade. These are like the vocal, loud kids that are going to say something. There's no way in hell this kid either doesn't know or this really isn't a problem and your mom is just fucking bitching and complaining. There's no fucking way.
All right.
So you guys get to choose which one you guys want me to read. I will read either of them. Am I the asshole for checking my husband's dash cam footage in his car without his consent? Or am I the asshole for saying my wife will have to quit her job if we get booted from another daycare?
I want dash cam. I want to see like, oh, wait a second. She was justified in checking here. Okay, I want the spin. Okay. I want the spin.
So am I the asshole for checking my husband's dash cam footage on his car without his consent? I, 34 female, live with my husband, 37 male, and daughter, 7 female. My daughter and I recently went on a short trip out of state while my husband stayed, as he had work and he was supposed to look out after our dog. On the last day of our trip, we got a call from my husband who was acting distraught and said our dog Ellie had run away and he could not find her. He claimed she just bolted away from him in the park into some bushes and he could not find her. Our dog is quite small, a mini poodle mix, almost 13 years old, and she is still active, but it is really unlike her to run away from us. And I was suspicious, but chose to believe my husband, and me and my daughter were in grief, but I did not want to blame him. When we came back home, he seemed surprisingly okay, unlike us. Ever since the pandemic, my husband started working from home and always has been annoyed at how much attention we gave Ellie and hated how Ellie begged to sit on our laps while he worked. A few days later, we got a call from an animal rescue in a neighboring state that is quite far from us that she had been found. I picked up the phone and it was on our landline, which we almost never use these days, but was the contact on the microchip. I told my husband, he just said, "That is great, I'm so happy," but I felt kind of blunt and insincere. I said it's strange that she got that far, and he responded that someone must have stolen her and then abandoned her. This made little sense to me as to why would that happen. When he was out drinking with his buddies, I copied the video from his dash cam for these days while I was away and saw that he indeed took Ellie far out of state and clearly dropped her off in front of his car and thrown a frisbee-like object into the field and yelled "fetch" and then drove off without her. I was livid and confronted him, and he stupidly muttered how he dropped her there so she could find a farm and have a better life. Then the next day, got really angry at me for viewing his dash cam and called me and my daughter assholes.
There's no way this is a real story.
So you just take it as this is completely fake?
Because, like, again, it has, like, that embellishment karma farming to it where it's like, well, I'm projecting that he was jealous and that's why he would go through this elaborate series of events. Like, I don't know how you get to that point. And, like, if this is real, like, to get to that point of suspicion is assholey. But then, like, of course, like, if you have enough justification, you find, like, good on her for solving the mystery, I guess. But I don't know, like, who comes up with that idea to drive and abandon the dog that way? Definitely the asshole. Anyone that just drops off the dog and throws a frisbee. No, rehoming! Just, why not just surrender the dog? Ever. But people can't do that. Weird.
Even at age 13, like, the dog's probably not got that much time
Oh,
left.
people love rehoming old dogs. They'll take a senior dog in for the last couple of years.
Or just take care of it for its final days.
Yeah, that's
Obviously,
the
it's
correct thing to do.
a huge part of the family.
Yeah, and like I don't like. There's no way he did that out of jealousy. Maybe because he works from home. It's like, well, now actually, what if she's the asshole because she's working, she's taking care of the kid. Now the dog is his responsibility. He never wanted.
Yep.
Not cool what he did, regardless. But I don't like these stories. I don't think there's enough information. I think they're half lies. I don't know. This doesn't seem correct.
To me, they make them as vague as they possibly can. So that way, everything that could make them the asshole out of the entire thing is as disconnected as they possibly can.
Or it's so vague you can't tell it's a lie.
Yeah, exactly. So what I wrote and posted on Am I the Asshole before about one of the situations with my mom. I was like, hey, this is what happened. This is how I reacted. This is what she did. And I took it as like, I'm going to say this as a bystander, not myself, because that's how you should actually try and figure out if you are wrong in a situation. It's not from your perspective, you fucking ignorant retards. It's not from your perspective. It's from theirs. It's from every other person in the situation. It's not just you fucking narcissistic retards.
Yeah.
That's narcissism.
See, that's actually a point I wanted to make about the cake lady. It's like, that's a touch of narcissism where you're like, my cake's better than what he wishes for his birthday.
So, Nirth, what do you think about this bitch who checked her husband's dash cam footage without his consent?
Investigative journalism at that point.
So,
like if she had a reasonable hypothesis to suspect that something might have happened,
okay.
it was strange
without consent, though. However, I think like if you're at the point where you have to ask, like, "Hey, I don't trust you on this thing," You're all like shit's already bad. So like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
bypassing
chuck it, whatever.
consent, like that's going to blow up
kind
the
of
relationship.
irrelevant. Yeah. This is a
Because
nuke.
also, yeah, that's a nuke. Because also, like, what if he did nothing? What if the dash cam shows the dog leaping over the fence and running off into Narnia? Or even better, show someone picking up the dog and then just running off. Like, well, now that's her betrayal of trust over her projections of this dude's jealousy of a dog that he wasn't jealous of. So I think like you gotta rip the band-aid off and be like, hey, I don't believe you. Can we check? And then if he gets suspicious, that's when you swipe it. If he says no, then you're allowed to yoink it and not be an asshole.
So the big part to me, and this might be a way to make it more vague and more understandable from just this situation, which seems like total entire bullshit. When does your I feel uncomfortable in this situation become validated enough for you to investigate?
Yeah, I
Is
think
it
they need to
just
act sus.
every single little harebrained scheme I feel like you're being disingenuous about, I have to investigate. I have to have every single one of your passwords. I have to be able to pick up your phone whenever the fuck I feel like, because I don't trust you. Or when you have at least a 7-year fucking relationship, because that's how old your fucking kid is, that there can be a level of understanding who you are as a person. I don't have to prove it. I don't have to prove my innocence. I don't have to prove my guilt. Guess what? We are in probably a 10-year fucking relationship, you fucking weirdo. You're probably going to know how I feel about our dog that is 13. That if that is how old our relationship is, this dog's been with us for our entire fucking relationship. Our dog is older than our kid. But the thing that points out to me and makes me thoroughly feel like, Verlis, you are right, that this isn't an animal that he wanted or doesn't want anymore. And it's
Or
not
that
just
she
giving the
just
dog
is
up.
neglecting responsibility for it.
Why does anytime my daughter and I went on a short trip out of state where my husband stayed home while he worked, that to me sticks out. And everybody's like, oh, well, that's crazy. You would be involved in everything. No. Why would your daughter and your wife go out and do something during the week when you have to work, where they're going to go stay away somewhere, probably for 3-4 days, maybe a week, to where you have to watch the dog? First off, that's the big
How
question
often does
to me.
this happen?
How often does that happen? This seems like this is a one-off fucking thing. To me, that's weird. To me, that's weird. Oh, your kid wants to go to Disney World? That's a vacation. That's a week off from work. You want to go do something? That's a day, 2-3 days off of work. That is going to do something. You plan that around your schedule, or you plan your schedule around the thing that you're trying to do. It seems like she did not understand the responsibility of what this was. It seems like she was so disconnected from her day-to-day life of, oh, the dog comes and sits on my lap. I don't walk it. I don't feed it. I don't do any of it. That all of a sudden, when everything, including the house, was on his shoulders, he said, I'm not taking care of this responsibility anymore. This is the responsibility I can give up. And he didn't want to take the availability of her to get another dog when things get fixed away from her, which is what surrendering a dog does. The dog ran away. The dog is too old. He ran away. We have a problem because not only do you not trust me, you're not responsible. You went away and expected me to do this. And this is where you can see where she is absolutely one of those narcissistic significant others and parents. She doesn't say, oh yeah, as a whole, he agreed to watch the dog. It was, he's going to. And he's acting distraught that he has to. He did not want this responsibility, and he probably disagreed with it from step one.
What if the dog is at fault? Take the dog out, they just sniff the bush for 10 minutes, come back
Dog's
in,
an asshole.
immediately shit on the carpet. You're gone. That could have been the last straw for him. Never know. We don't know his side.
There are some missing details for sure.
Everybody in this situation is an asshole. Because there needs to be some level of trust in a relationship. If you get to the point where you already validated that they are wrong and they are guaranteed to be wrong, that you have to check something, or that they are so validated in what you're doing is wrong, that you feel like fucking checking his dash cam to see if he dropped off your loving dog of 13 years, there are many more steps in that situation that told you that situation's already broken.
Yep. Speaking of dog,
there's already a break in that relationship. There's already a situation in there. Fuck, why the hell is it 4 clicks now to open the damn spreadsheet? Nirth, there is a link in the chat on this website. It's a docs.google link. Feel free to click click that link and tell me one of the stories that you would like me to tell.
While I was reading through all those, yeah. I'll reiterate my my Am I the Asshole story where I posted because I thought I was in the right and everyone else was in the wrong, and then Reddit called me an asshole, and then I was just like, oh, this place is a cesspool. So what it was I went to an all-you-can, like, the quick version is I went to an all-you-can-eat sushi place, and I ate so much I got sick, but I was pinned in, like, one of the booths, so I couldn't just, like, immediately, like, get out and puke. So I, like, wrapped up a cup in, like, napkins. I, like, quietly, like, behind everything, and I, like, you know, I didn't make a scene about it. I slipped away, and I went to the bathroom, and I dumped it out and stuff. And then when I came back, everyone was pissed at me, because and then, like, we can't eat anymore. We're all going home. We're all done. You ruined it because you puked. And I was just like, nah, I did the best to try to, like, cover it up and all that. And Reddit's just like, who do you think you are to eat so much food? How little self-control do you have? Of course you're the asshole. No redeeming qualities. I'm like, bro, it's all you can eat sushi. If you're not, like, eating until you puke, you're not getting the full value. I got 2x. I wanted to stay. Everyone was mad at me, though. And I think it's just one of those things, like, this gluttonous white male at this appropriating sushi place, he is obviously in the wrong. All right, Nerd, got a story? Yeah, but also Zach.
The only person that is in the wrong in that entire situation is youth vomiting at my fucking table. If it's a you and you're sitting all the way at the head of the table like a big ass fucking baller like you were back in fucking 2012, using your YouTube money to throw fucking money around.
This is before YouTube.
Oh, then the only reason you're an asshole is the fact that you vomited at the table. Either side of you, those 2 people that sat on either side of you, if you're at a U table, or the one person that sat on the side of you, if it's a bar table,
I was pinned in the corner of a booth, and it was like a long booth.
That person's the asshole. That's the only fucking asshole in the entire situation. The only
it was like a 4 and a 4. It was like 4 across, 4 over, and I was 3 people deep.
Yeah, the only people that are wrong in this situation are the people that didn't get the fuck up. If I say I need to go to the bathroom, we're at a fucking Asian restaurant. Motherfucker, you're lying. If you say you go to a Chinese buffet and you don't shit yourself by the time you get home. So guess what? We all need to be self-aware enough that if somebody's looking fucking queasy, you get the fuck out of the way, because that gas station sushi is coming the fuck back up. So get the fuck out of the way, so that way I can go eat another California roll before we have to leave. I paid fucking $20 for this. I'm going to get my money worth. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm an asshole because I vomited. The only reason you're an asshole is because you vomited at the table. The people should have got the fuck up. They're the asshole.
Yeah, I did my best to cover it up. It's not like I just went, blah, or like straight into the cup. I was just like,
Nah, you should have been more confident. You should have fucking vomited on the table and said, you fucking assholes, I told you to move.
Yeah, I ducked on. Yeah.
Or you could have did that kid thing where you crawl under the table and like hot dog yourself out.
Well, I did that after I puked into the cup.
Just puke underneath them. They don't even know it was already
I didn't
there.
want anyone to see it, experience it, but nah, I'm still the asshole.
All right, how about the Corona in school? That was an interesting period of school.
Gotta love that shit. So at this point, I finally left work. I stopped working because of my neck and stuff like that. And I was dealing with massive fucking problems with that shit. So I became a stay-at-home dad. Both me and my wife were home at the time. She's home because of being disabled. And now I have a neck injury that we're kind of like, what the fuck is going to happen with this? I went out of work 3 months before COVID started, no, it was a month and a half before it started and like 2.5 months before like lockdowns, because lockdowns started here about like February-ish, because New York is so fucking blue. I don't know how it started with you guys, because who the fuck knows how Norway started their lockdowns. I don't even think a lot of your guys' shit was locked down to the point where it wasn't still available, right?
I remember hearing it on the radio in mid-January, and then
Yeah.
I was like, "Uh-oh," and started looking into things. And that was more or less 2 months before it caught seemingly everyone by surprise. Because, like, I
Yeah,
think it was like March 12th or something, they declared the whole like issue, and people kind of woke
yeah,
up.
but
But
it seemed
yeah,
like Europe was like a coin flip of if they closed everything and you had to stay in your houses, like Italy, where everybody was dying in the streets and it was actually bad. And then there was like a lot of Scandinavian countries and Nordic countries where they're like, okay, well, we're half open. You still can go to the club and party, but we're working from home this week. And I don't know how you experience that, or if you work from home normally or what, but like
I was a
it seemed like
student at
that's
the
what it
time,
was.
and that was
Oh,
just
so
not good.
you cashed
And
in completely.
they did not know what to do at the school. They were trying to figure out all the things with the exams and whatnot, and that was just, I think, post Corona. I don't think the grading system works anymore because they try,
Right.
like for real, they tried to make some sort of like digital exams and all that stuff, and like write in the guidelines you shouldn't sit next to one another when you do the exam. But then, okay, well you can, and there's no way to double check it. And
Mhm.
so I had a bit of a trouble during that period because they made the exams harder and I wasn't cheating.
Some of
And
the
then I
people
was
that I
kind of
talked
like,
to
yeah,
were essentially given graduation because COVID started during their like senior year of high school.
really?
So like their first year before university and stuff like that. They're like, yeah, we don't, we're going to give you guys tests, but school's done essentially. There's nothing more that we can do. Like if we sit here and start, remote schooling, there's nothing that we can really do for you. We can't guarantee you're going to learn this stuff. None of it's kind of life detrimental. So, we're going to give you the test. Everybody passes go. It kind of was like exactly what they wanted to do with No Kid Left Behind, but like the legitimate way to do it, which is where it makes sense, is like senior year. If you make it to senior year, you probably should pass anyway. It should be the year that you're kind of pushed through, not fucking third grade where you have to learn how to add 3 plus 3 plus 2. Like it's kind of dumb at that point, but so I don't know when you started listening, Nirth, but I developed something called thoracic outlet syndrome, where is like a repeated movement injury. A lot of basketball players, a lot of baseball players develop it. Um, there's 3 different kinds. There's neuro, which is your nerves being affected; venous, which your veins are affected; or arterial, which your arteries are affected. And it's compression in your collarbone and neck, going down through your arm and into your face. And I ended up developing all 3 of them. So all three of those kinds were all impacted. I developed neurological problems and blood flow problems. I have pictures where my hand is completely purple from like halfway down my wrist. And I ended up developing all of it, and I ended up having neck surgery and stuff like that. And I ended up having to leave work because of it, because I had a physical labor job where I was leading a team in unloading trucks and stuff like that, and kind of putting freight on the floor. So at that point, I was like, okay, well, we kind of need to figure what the fuck's going on. And I'm trying to figure out what life's going to be, because you hear neck surgery and you're like, fuck, what is next week? Because what is it? Am I dead? Am I going to die in a year? Because they have knives in my neck. You're told that your neck is the, like, if your heart is the way that you fucking run, your neck is the gas line, and if it gets disconnected for 30 seconds, you're gone. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's one of those weird linchpins where everybody's like, that. You don't want to fuck that up. I fucked
Yeah.
that up.
That's the fear, because like you can come back from a lot, but if something happens to your neck, it's over. Snap neck, dead. Artery, dead. That vein's still bad, dead. Artery will,
I
will
used to
close
do
itself up sometimes.
gymnastics. I
I
used
did too.
to do gymnastics, and they would have these like swimming pools filled with these like squishy things you
Oh
can
yeah,
land
those are
in.
awful.
Yeah, I actually had a neck incident at one point
You,
landing in those. You
those are
would think you can just
no, you're not supposed to. That's how so many neck injuries happen.
yes.
Want to hear the crazy thing? That artery and vein, is exactly where the hole in my fucking neck is.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
right next to the
Wow.
fucking...
Bro, I will never get like chiropractic, even though chiropractic's bullshit. I'll never get it because every once in a while you hear just like of an arterial tear. People die from that.
Yeah.
I don't
Not
care if
good.
my
So,
odds are like 1 in a million. I'm not taking the chance of anything around my neck. That snapping noise they make? No. I'd
so
rather improve my chances of living by just skipping that entirely.
I went into Corona extremely fucking depressed. And I assume most people did once they started locking things down. But I'm like, my life...
I was still balling. I was fine.
My life is just about to be changed. Like everything that my life was is now changing. So I go and I talk to my lawyer for the first time, and they're like, 80% of these cases end in divorce after your surgery or whatever happens with workers' comp, because you are a different person after this, because you're gonna need more or less than what you were able to give before. Things change now. Be very, very hyper aware of it changing, because nothing can... these two things can affect each other, but they're not connected. So your neck surgery or your neck injury can affect everything in your life, but it doesn't have to. You allow it to. You allow it to impact everything if you decide to change things. So I got really depressed, and I was playing video games probably 8 hours a day, and my arm was going completely numb, just sitting there playing on a controller. Couldn't fucking pick up a controller. Couldn't get my right hand to work. And they shut school systems down. And I have 2 kids that are school age. At the time, I think they were in like 4th grade and 2nd grade, or about there. Wait, fuck, that was 3 years ago? 4 years ago? Yeah, we're 3rd and 1st grade. Fuck. And I went out, I bought them laptops. I bought them Chromebooks, just shitty things that they could do their schoolwork with, that I didn't have to worry about them kind of doing weird shit while they were fucking doing schooling. And they struggled. Watching them struggle with that, because there's no fucking intent to hold them to that screen or hold them to that thing. So fucking hell, especially with how bad my ADHD is. I can only assume how bad theirs is at this point, because they don't fucking care. You're telling a fucking 1st grader and a 3rd grader that they have to sit at a screen and watch it, and there's no positive for them to. They don't care if they pass. They don't fucking care. Like,
They don't know if they're going to be alive because everything was like, Corona, you get it, you kill you, your dad's dead, your mom's dead, your grandma's dead.
and they don't even look at the thing of like, oh, well, I could die. What are you going to do if I get up? What are you going to do, teacher? Do you really think I give enough of a fuck that if I get up and you say, Zach, sit down, that I'm going to care? Do you
Yeah.
think I care? I don't. I don't care.
This year's a wash. Either everyone's getting passed or it's effectively just getting held back anyways. Nothing to care about.
We got to about the middle of May, and I sat down with both the school's teachers, and I was like, hey, I'm not pulling them out. They're still going to do the homework. Send whatever work they need to do for the week. I don't care enough to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning and make sure they're sitting on their Chromebooks. This sounds really fucking retarded now. You're not teaching them anything. You're sitting there asking them if they have any questions. So I have to teach them regardless. Just send the work. I don't want to do this anymore. Just send the work over and I will fucking do it. Obviously, that ended up being a year and a half worth of me doing that. And my kids succeeded through COVID. Like, they are all super fucking far ahead with where they should be. My kids can change schools and they're like, oh yeah, I already got all this. Like, we were watching Ghost Adventures one day, and my daughter's like, oh shit, I wonder if the world felt better, like the air quality got better because of COVID. I'm like, kid, what the you're in 6th grade.
And then
You should not
everybody
be
clapped.
asking this. It's like, what the fuck? I was like, kid, what the...
And then she said Ruth Conda forever. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
No, it really fucking did. And she's like, I wonder if after World War II we saw the same spike. Kid, what the fuck are you talking about? Like the fact that you have these conversations with me and you have these thoughts with me are fucking hilarious. And then last week you fucking tell me, can we walk to the other side of the sun so we can see the eclipse better? You're a fucking dipshit. I love you, but you're fucking retarded. Like I love being able to rib my kids like that. But you know, watching them struggle through that shit because they're like, oh, I can't fucking sit here for 4 hours because you're telling me I have to sit here and do the work right now was the weirdest thing because, you know, it changed the way I looked at work because I'm coming out of being a leadership kind of spot in a company and I'm coming out of this with a neck surgery and I'm like, fuck, this shit doesn't work. Just being a slave driver doesn't fucking work. You have to look at these things as okay, it's completionist. It's not just, oh, do it this way because it's the easiest way. No, that's not how you need to do everything. And I was like, that's why I succeeded at my job. That's why I was overachieving. And now looking at school in the same way, like we were talking last week, I missed 60 fucking days of school in 6th grade. But I passed. Why did I pass? Because I understood it at a different level than everybody else. I don't think school needs to go back to the way it was. I don't think the world needed to go back to the way it was because that's not how us as humans fucking work anymore. Like we don't work just through, oh, I'm gonna bang my head into the fucking wall and hope that the other side of the wall doesn't fucking break when I bang my head into the wall and the drywall finally breaks. It's not continuing to walk until you know you don't have soles on your shoes. You can fucking outsmart everybody and do it a different way. And it's really weird. It's really weird because it's so contextualized into what I've done now. I went from finally starting to be able to buy a house when I was working in management to getting a neck injury and not knowing where anything's going to happen, falling on my face and thinking that this is the end, having a baby when I had no fucking life availability at that point. I was so fucking depressed and that baby pulled me out of everything. To finally being able to be in the place where I am now. I talk to fucking 450 to a million people a week from 0 3 years ago. That is so surreal to kind of just like look at and be like, okay, well, if I didn't fuck up my neck, if I didn't get a fucking hole in my neck and tear muscles and have to have them cut out and veins and nerves be reattached, I'm not where I am now because I don't have the time and I don't have the courage to do it because I'm risking everything. But now we're saying it needs to go back. Now we're saying those kids that struggled so heavily during COVID need to go back to school just to be told, okay, you need to sit here for 9 hours a day and keep doing the thing of we're going to run into a wall and not change anything when we see there's change available. It's depressing.
Yeah, it goes into a greater thing about like the problem with our school systems and stuff, but also just the weirdness of how COVID reversed everything we should be doing. Instead of going outside, socializing with people, and still like being cautious of things, it was you stay inside and then you just isolate, and there's going to be no problems. That
No.
got weird, and it also kind of shows like yeah, with the kids, I thought screens were bad. Even like television in the 90s, like you can't watch too much TV, you're going to go stupid. And then the solution during COVID became now you're forced into your computer no matter what, and you think you're going to get quality learning on top of the low quality of the standard schooling anyways. So weird.
I felt really bad for the like, and I obviously know that this is a stereotype, but I don't really give a fuck. Like the white trash fucking trailer kids that don't have their parents at home, that like don't fucking log in, or they only log in because they're fucking hit it every single night if they didn't do their schoolwork, or like the inner city kids who their grandma chases them around with a fucking flip flop when they don't listen, and like they're just being yelled at and screamed at into compliance, into
Yeah,
sitting
school was
behind
kind
a
of like their
screen.
escape.
Like those kids learn nothing. Those kids will be burnouts and they will fucking fall through the cracks and they will end up on the social programs because they didn't get anything out of it other than go and do what you're told or you're going to be beat. Go and do what you're told Nobody gives a fuck about your problems. They were instilled the same fucking trauma that school set out to fix. I don't know, man. COVID fucked up the world, but at the same time, it showed so many people can do so many different things and kind of change the way the world works. It's the reason why all of us, all three of us on this screen, are able to make something from the screens we're looking at right now. If COVID doesn't happen, there isn't that second boom in content. There isn't that second boom in what
I got
people's
fucked just
eyes.
as bad. Dislike botting didn't get better.
Yes, but if you didn't get dislike botted, there's a boom there.
Yeah, and I didn't get the boom.
Across content.
Yeah.
I understand, but you still have the eyes there, is what I was saying. Did you get the second growth level of it? No,
I got
I don't think you did. But COVID as a whole grew the entire space of content. Like,
I don't think that's a good thing. As we were talking about with like the content creators getting into trouble, social media being bad. I don't like this. I don't like any of it.
I think my channel
Fix
peaked in
yourself,
like
people.
2021 off of people just being home playing video games instead of studying. But
Nirth, thank you so much, brother. We'll make sure to put your guest link in the comments. Is there anywhere that you want people to be sent to? Your Twitter, your YouTube? What do you want?
I guess the YouTube channel, like right now, is just Pokemon Sleep. But for the most part, it's just the channel is a big library of how-to videos. Mostly people find those through search anyway. So I have like 1,500 videos on just all the small little questions that people have in the Pokemon games. But yeah, it's been a pleasure getting to hang out with you guys. And thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Make sure to use code RMTS or Verlisify at gfuel.com. Make sure that they love us and they keep coming back. Nirth, thank you so much for coming on. Verlis, as always, brother. Make sure to use that membership so that way you see this shit early. See all the fucking episodes early. We'll see you fucking
spam all
next
the
time.
emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah.